Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is DevOps MasterClass 2025 by TechBlit. My name is Shegun Ejewale. I will be taking most of these sessions. Um, as I as I may have said to you or emailed you in terms of how the program will run, we will have two classes weekends, so Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday between 8 and 10 p.m. UK time. And then we would have a class every Wednesdays, not every Wednesdays, on some Wednesdays to kind of augment whatever we may be learning on the weekend. This class, the master class is mainly hands-on, so we are going to take classes as normal, but bulk of the work or the task will be shouldered on you guys to work on the whatever task we give to you. And that is how we are going to kind of if you like, shorten the learning time. Because I know a lot of people are coming from like zero knowledge on DevOps to actually becoming Grandmaster. So what you should have learned within 2 years, we would try and kind of compress into like 14 week, 15 week, 16 weeks program. So it's not going to be easy. Bulk of the task of the effort will be on you to work hard, between those the week period after we finish your class. We'll give you tasks to do. Then you have to go away, work on those stuff. Obviously, we support you. I get the point here is going to be that it will be a collaborative effort between you guys and myself, but bulk of the work will be on you. Okay, I'm sort of showing the video on video because I want you to see my face so that if you see me like run into me somewhere, you'll be nice to me. And yeah, it's not something I would do every week, but I thought it makes sense to kind of see what I look like. Without much ado, we're gonna get cracking. So I've got some slide for today. I will share the slide when we wrap up the class. So every week I will endeavor to kind of, if possible, give you a heads up as to what we're going to be looking into, the subject we're going to be discussing, or the topic we're going to be discussing. So I'll try as much as possible to give you a bit of a heads up as to what is coming. So if anyone wants to research into it, you can actually go ahead and do your own little bit of research before we commence. I will try my best to make sure that I simplify even difficult to explain subject or topics as far as DevOps goes. And I'm gonna kind of walk you what the plan looks like and what are the objectives, what are we trying to achieve, and what I can do for you. Also, I also want to reinforce what I need from you for for both of us to be successful. Because your success is my success. If you do well, then you obviously promote my classes and maybe kinder to me and so forth. So I'm so invested in seeing you are doing well. I've been running this program for quite a while, so I kind of know the ropes a little bit without blowing my trumpet too much. So yeah, we'll see. So we're gonna get started now. So the DevOps MasterClass 2025. Today is going to be more of an introduction. We're not going to be doing much today. It's sort of easing everyone into the program and just obviously for me also, dusting off the cobwebs and making sure I'm ready to go as well. For this class, we are going to be looking at what the program objectives are, the approach we're going to be taking to the program, and what the end goal looks like. So if we are successful, what does success looks like? And what is the pathway to getting up to that finished destination? And what are the objectives we want to cover during the course of the program? So we start with the program objective. So basically, the class is sort of mixed into is a bit of a mixed bag. So we do have some people that are kind of seasoned developer, seasoned DevOps engineer that already know their ways around DevOps, but are coming to kind of do a bit of a top up and strengthen their skill set, reinforce their skill set, and look out and sort of check out what the horizon looks like for them in terms of the next frontier to conquer. Conversely, we have people who are brand new green shoot who are sort of maybe hearing DevOps for the first time, or actually have heard about it but do not know much about it. So it's a bit of a mixed bag of folks here. So I have a program that I'm more than sure that would work for us both. The program objective here is to make sure that the people that are new to DevOps, they are being strengthened from 0. We take them up to 100. For people that are already sort of seasoned, we kind of point them into what a new direction would look like for them and equip them into getting there. So what you'll find out during the course of this program is the project might differ week to week in terms of what we dish out to people. And I'm always gonna make sure I sort of highlight that and say, okay, this project A is for newbie and project B is for experienced folks. So I always kind of make that clarity when we dish out the weekly project. It might not be every week, or whenever we have 2 different streams of project, I would say, okay, for the new shoot, this is project, this is your work. For the experienced guys, this is yours. So I would just call it group A and group B. Group A are the new shoots, group B are the new guys. So if we don't specify, that means everybody will do the same thing. Or if we say this is for group A, that will be for newbie, and group B is for experienced folks. There's nothing stopping you from, say, you are very ambitious, you're a group A person, you want to have a go at group B project. So you're more than welcome. In fact, I want to encourage that. Likewise, if you're a group A person, you might want to kind of take a, pick at what group A is up to, and you want to kind of just flex your muscles a little bit and have it go as well. So it's kind of a free world. The more you do, the better you know. So we are going to cover a lot of things, including, basic DevOps principles, look at Linux, look at scripting, pipelines. We're going to look at infrastructure as code, GitHubs, and so many things. So it's going to be a very, very rich program. A lot of things will be flying, so it's important to hit the ground running. One thing I found out during the course of running this program is that people get overwhelmed quite quickly because the strain it starts slowly, but when it's trained actually get into gears, it's quite difficult to stop. So that's why I wanted everyone to kind of make sure they are ready in terms of, getting the Azure platform ready, getting the AWS platform ready. The associate some document on Linux, just kind of give you a bit of a prep. It doesn't mean we won't touch Linux and teach it. We will, but the kind of more you know, the better, the easier it is for you to kind of go with the class. So it's gonna, because we are trying to compress what you probably should learn within a year period or two, gonna compress into like a 14-week, 16-week program. It's gonna be rapid fire, I'm afraid. What we would do is every once in a while, we will agree to maybe take a breather for a weekend and say, okay, this weekend, we're not gonna run a class. We want people to catch up, but that will be a consensus. It will not be something that will sort of unilaterally say, okay, we're not going to run a class today. No, I will chip it in. And then if we buy it, you guys can also say, okay, we think we're going to run the class if it makes sense. But I will be the one that would finally, that has the final say in terms of, okay, let's do it, let's not do it. But I will not be the only one making that decision. But the final decision will be rested. Okay. So, what is the approach we're going to take? So it's going to be like in 2 phases. So the first one will be everyone kind of goes through the basic kind of what is DevOps and so forth. What are those sort of bread and butter tools that makes DevOps and why DevOps? All those questions, we answer them in the first 6 weeks. And then from like week 7 onwards, we will begin to look at advanced stuff and what probably would give you that break in the industry. Now, as I'm also sort of running through the class, I will chip in things I've seen because I've run series of interviews for folks trying to get into DevOps. If interview question pop into my head, I will kind of, just drop it in and have people have a go. By the way, one thing I missed in the program objective is ultimately, I mean, it comes to the end goal actually. The whole drama, what we are doing here is mainly for two reasons. Some people are here that to actually learn and understand DevOps and all the tooling that goes with it. Fantastic. But other people are here because they want to break in and actually secure a role in DevOps. Fantastic as well. Obviously you cannot break in if you don't know stuff, if you see what I mean. Some people don't really want to do DevOps, but they already have a job. They just want to strengthen their knowledge, the technical expertise. But ultimately for me, I am more invested in people that want to get a job. So the track for you to kind of go from where you are to securing a role in DevOps is a little bit steeper than someone who's already working, but trying to basically reinforce his knowledge, etc. So for example, if you are trying to break into DevOps, which we're going to come to later, you may have to take certifications, you may have to work a little bit harder, especially if you're starting from like a zero. Because sadly, DevOps is not really an entry-level position in a sense. There are just too many things to kind of put together to kind of give you that leg in that you need to kind of break into the industry. So it's not the easiest thing, but we'll try as much as possible to simplify for you. So the approach is going to be the first phase is going to be core foundation. We're going to talk about the bread and butter of toolings in DevOps, what DevOps is, and so on and so forth. Then we will ramp things up, moving to phase two, which is advanced and specialization in DevOps. So we're going to look at our direction towards if you want to move to an SRE position, FinOps, GitOps, DevSecOps, SRE, and so forth. What are those things you need to tweak? By the way, this is this training will be AI centric as well. We're going to look at a lot of things in AI. So it will be for people that probably took my previous masterclass, you will see a lot of mark difference in here compared to the previous masterclass. So this will be AI centric because I always kind of take temperature of what is happening in the industry and I try to kind of adjust the program in such a way that it's not stale, but actually touching the bleeding edge stuff that can give us a leg up when it comes to searching for jobs in the industry. Okay. If you have any question, please feel free to pop up your hand. I'm more than happy to take your question as kind of go along. So the approach, we're going to have weekly projects, as I mentioned. We're going to have monthly mini projects. So the monthly mini project will be a little bit more tasking than the regular weekly project. Ideally, the weekly project, we want you to kind of wrap it up before the next weekend classes. But the monthly project, you might run for a few days or weeks, depending on how much time you have and how much support you need and, whatever. But the weekly project, ideally, you should wrap up before the next weekend classes. One thing is because we're using Slack as the main platform, any questions you have, please do not WhatsApp me. I beg you to just put it on Slack. If you WhatsApp me, I will not respond. I'm sorry. But put it on Slack because there are people on there that might be able to answer your questions straight away. If they don't, I'm always checking. Not always checking. I check from time to time. And then I'll be more than happy to help you and support you. If I kind of think that you might need extra sort of support, we arrange that outside of the regular classes because the intention here is to make sure you know the stuff. So if the regular class is not enough for you, I will try to work out some sort of bespoke sessions to support maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 people that may be struggling. But if I see anyone sort of lagging and it's due to the person not just being serious, I will not respond. So I will just ask the person to go and rewatch the videos and so forth. For people that are new, you might need to watch a video more than 2, 3 times for most of the thing to sink in. And also I found out that, let's say we do week 1 today and we do week 2 and week 3. Sometimes it goes for, it's very people that are new to this DevOps concept. It makes sense sometimes to go back to week 1 video so that you can reinforce your week 3 knowledge. So don't say because I work week 1, week 2, I'm just going to forget about it. Sometimes it makes sense to kind of go back in time and refresh your memory so that, because it's not everything we teach, because I think most of this it might be new to you. It's not everything we teach you're going to be able to fully absorb and appreciate. But as your knowledge expands, and if you go back to the previous classes, you'll be able to even kind of extract more, and a lot of it will probably make a little bit more sense than when you were watching for the first, second, or third time. So we're gonna have weekly project, monthly project. There will be a final project. The reason why we do project is mainly because we might need to prop up your CV to be able to get you that interview that you need. And also because that, it's one thing to kind of prop up one CV, it's another thing to be able to back it up in terms of you being able to support it. So there's a project that you do, that's what we're going to put in your resume. So it is very, very important to go through those projects so that we can say for sure that, oh, you did this, and we can put it on your resume because you're going to be able to back it up. Obviously, that has ramification on you breaking into the industry with the knowledge that obviously you are selling. Some people, from experience, people come to me and say, "Can you help me prop up my CV?" I'm like, if we do, it's gonna probably have a counter intuitive sort of repercussion because we prop it up, you go for interview, you get burned, and then you get blacklisted. Okay, this guy doesn't know his stuff. He's probably just doctored the CV. So it is important to do the project. And the more you stretch yourself in the project, the more you're able to kind of put in your CV as what you've covered, because it will not be a lie. It will be something you have actually done and you can back it up. That is even more true for people that are looking for roles in DevOps rather than people that already secure something. People that already secure something might take it easy and say, okay, yeah, I do what I can, etc. If you're trying to break in, yeah, it is kind of oversize the need to do those projects so that we can have something concrete we can put in your CV. And the more leading edge stuff you can add to your CV, the better the chances of even scaling the first sort of um, if you like the filtration that happens, agencies picking up your CV and giving you that first call. If your CV does not wow them enough, they might not pick you. And if you get it too much and you're not able to back it up, it could be a problem as well. Certification support and preparation. By the way, the interview and resume prep, we also prep people for interview, but that's a separate kind of covering in terms of what we do is not really part of the training program, but it's something we do on the side. If we want to prepare you for interview and help you with to strengthen your resume. It's something it's a service that is outside of these regular classes. Certification of support and preparations. We want to encourage people who are trying to break into the market to take certifications, just to kind of distinguish themselves in the market, because the market is quite saturated, for lack of a better word. And to kind of distinguish yourself, it makes sense to write some certifications. We kind of have the know-how in terms of how we can kind of push you, what you need to do, what you need to understand. But ultimately, you be the one taking it. We will help you with the materials. And for the certification learning, it is not something we teach in regular classes. So it's something you're going to have to be doing in parallel as we take the normal classes. One thing I found out is learning to understand DevOps is not strictly the same as the art of passing certification. You can sort of have a crash course and, ingest all the materials you need to pass an exam without necessarily knowing the stuff. So we will kind of push in that direction, just get through the exams because it makes sense to have it or have them. But the learning itself is quite important. That's what we will cover here, as well as giving you the material for the certification. But we will not be preparing you for a certification, but we're going to give you the tools that you need. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go on. Okay. So, a bit of some warnings here. First thing is, this is a fully hands-on stuff. So if you're gonna come and just listen and go away, it's a waste of time. Don't even turn up because you won't know stuff. You will go to interview, you're gonna struggle. You will think you know it, but you don't know anything. That's the honest truth, and you're not gonna get a job. It's that simple. If you're gonna come and just listen and go and come in next week and you won't do stuff, don't waste your time. This is not for you. I will do my best to simplify stuff, but you're gonna have to help me by going through the task and making sure that you submit them and ask questions and push. A bit of a secret. The people that found that have kind of done well, have gone to secure big roles and stuff, taking the program, are the people that would finish their project quickly and they will say they're done and they need something else and they want to do more. Those are the people that usually end up to get a role. So if you had a guy that would probably, because we have a class on Saturday, you kind of rush things through Saturday morning and just send it, and then I've done it, because tick the box, you won't do well. That's the honest truth. But if you're the type that we give you something on Saturday, on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, and you've kind of wrapped it up by Wednesday and you're asking for more, or maybe you dig a little bit deeper and you extend the work you do and maybe even make it better, and you're always looking for perfection and what the next thing would be, this is for you. And good news, you will do well. Okay, DevOps is tough. That's why they pay a lot of money for it. So this is not a Corel Draw or some automation testing, whatever. It's not. It's tough. So if your life is kind of busy and you don't have time, this could be difficult because DevOps basically will hog your time because you need to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. If you're not doing that, it's a waste of time because it's hard enough to go through interview, and now to even keep the job is even harder, except you're very lucky. It's hard, and I cannot sugarcoat it for you. And that's why they pay people good big bucks. And the more you know, the more you get. That's the way it goes. Again, I don't be in listen only mode. I just come and I just want to listen, go back, come back next week. It's a waste of time. I don't say I can't do coding. Anybody can do coding. It's because probably you don't have a good teacher. I will do my best to simplify coding for you. We'll do Python coding. So there might be sometimes we might have to run classes on weekdays, Wednesdays. It will not be every week. But in order to make sure we use the time period that we have to cover everything, we might have to do top up classes now and again, just to make sure that we're able to not elongate the duration of a program, to kind of keep to it and make sure that we cover what we have to cover. So we might have to do a class here and there on weekdays just to make sure, especially if we start learning Python. Because AI is in the in thing now, program is even a lot easier now. I'm going to show you all the new fangles that you would need to smash coding. Life is easier now, but it's harder at the same time. Easier because AI is a leveler. So if you have a guy that's a badass developer that you used to know, tell him bad news, AI has leveled the playing field now. Of course, you still need to have some basic knowledge, but I tell you what, AI is a force multiplier. It's basically leveling the playing field now. And I'm going to show you all the good tools that would make you from like a crap developer or somebody that knows nothing about coding to somebody who can actually build a functioning portal. And I know what I'm saying. You will be amazed what you would be able to do with AI. So that is all coming in this program. And the reason for that is I don't want it to be such a case that, oh, I'm just a DevOps guy, just one dimensional. I want you to go to interview with a lot of arsenal in your repertoire. I'm not just a DevOps guy. I can do coding, I can do automation, and you are not just, babbling your way through that you could actually do it. Obviously, with support of AI and that rest of it. So that is all coming. And you will see that, there's a reason why people are making noise about AI. I will come to that as well. So please don't come with a mindset that I can't do coding. Nah, that's so yesterday. That's all last year. Anybody can do coding now. You just need a good teacher. Okay. So what are the end goals? What do we what are we getting at the end of the program? Okay, so I want people who are new, I want them to be able to transition with confidence to DevOps and say, yeah, I'm a DevOps engineer because I've done this, I've done, and I'm not making it up. This is my portfolio. Okay. I want to be able to show up your portfolio and say, this is what I've done. And, you can back it up, and tell anyone and explain to anyone what you've done and without missing words. People who are kind of looking for specializations, I want them to be able to say, okay, I targeted to be an SRE guy. I have what I have now. I can do it. I want to be a platform engineer. I want to be a DevSecOps architect, etc. And then, so we also want to make sure that for people that are looking for jobs and stuff, we want to make sure we give them the material to at least cover up to 2 top tier certifications in DevOps, which we come to at least 2 before the completion of the program. Those one will be even running more adrenaline than other people because they will have to be doing normal classes as well as starting to prepare for certifications. I'm going to cover that as we kind of go along. Right. So, fun fact. So I've been doing a lot of art stuff, warnings and stuff. So if we relax a little bit and say, let's have a bit of fun and look at some good things that DevOps can give us. Okay. So I was, in the course of preparing for the 2025 Masterclass program, I was sort of going through a lot of artifacts. So one thing I found is Glassdoor 2025 salary report on DevOps. And it seems that if you are, good news, if you are level 0, level 1 DevOps engineer, like you're new, you potentially could, on the average, you could get up to 80, 86, $90,000 per annum, up to about 110. I think in the UK, we're looking at an average of about £50,000 per annum. And the good thing also, apparently in the UK, sometimes you're lucky you get sponsorship because if you're able to demonstrate a skill set that it's not common in the market, and you have some rare combinations of skill set, it might be the breakthrough that you need to be able to not only get a lucrative position, but a position that may offer sponsorship, especially for people that are keen on getting sponsorship. The mid-level position is around 150, around 20, and senior level is around 175, and specialized go to almost $250,000 per annum. Also, the higher you go, the more you're able to determine how you work. By the grace of God, I haven't been to the office for like a year because I work remotely 100%. And that's liberating. You have to be lucky, or you have to make your own luck as well. So the more you know, the more you're able to choose the kind of role and the terms and conditions of what you want to do. Obviously, it might not be easy at the start, as you kind of go along and you continue to pay the price, is a gift that keeps on giving, Everybody needs a bit of luck, but sometimes you have to make your own luck. So yeah, this is what things look like in terms of what you potentially can in terms of the monetary gain. So what are the kind of tools that will get us to that sort of salary expectations, etc.? So we're going to be looking at things like version control, continuous integration, continuous delivery too. So tools like GitHub, GitLab, Jenkins, Docker, Kubernetes, Terraform, Argo CD, Flux CD, Travis Snake, Scenic, Prometheus, Grafana, Kubecast, Cloud Health, AWS Explorer, LangChain, OpenAI, Hugging Face. These are just summary of the things we're going to look at. We're going to look at things on Azure as well. By the way, the preferred platform we're going to look at is AWS. I will discuss more about that as we kind of go along. But that is not to say we will not look at Azure or Google Cloud as well. But we cannot be looking at three cloud platform at the same time. So for people that are kind of used to Azure, you can do all your projects on Azure, no problem. But people that what I'm saying doesn't make sense, don't worry. When we get there, we will cross the bridge. But it's just to say that the preferred cloud platform that we will be working with is going to be AWS, not least because it's the most common. It has the lion's share of the cloud utilization. A lot of other players are catching up. Azure is catching up. Google Cloud is catching up. And there are new guys like the Oracle Cloud that is catching up as well. But AWS still holds the lion's share. All that would make sense in due course. So if you look at what I just kind of shared now, I grouped them into which one is coding, which one is for testing, which one is for deployment, which one is to observe your platform, which one is to optimize your platform. Optimization and innovation comes with that's where AI kind of plays a role, and that's how you can kind of attach AI to DevOps. We will look at this at some point. Observability is how do you kind of keep an eye on your platform? It's like you have like if you like, for example, if you're like a farmer and you have a pen where you raise your pig or your sheep, and obviously you're not going to be there, 24/7 looking at them. So you might want to install a camera, you might want to install sensors so that when you go to bed, maybe the sensor is attached to your phone or attached to your watch. If something bad happens that requires attention, it might be a case of your wristwatch vibrating because the camera has caught something. That is observability. What are those tools in DevOps that allows you to sleep well and kind of notify you without you having to sit in front of the system, checking stuff, 24/7, which is actually not possible. So that's the observability tool. How do you deploy things? How do you put things on the platform? How do you test for stuff? And how do you turn a code into a running application? All these things we are going to talk about in due course. So these are the things we would have to equip ourselves with in order to be able to break into that space. For people that really keen on breaking into the space, you might have to take certifications. When the time comes, I will kind of, because what I have is quite a long list, so I will probably point out the ones I think really matters and the ones that you probably should go for. But you should aim for at least 2 here. If you're really feeling it, you could go for like 4 here, but at least 2. If you have 2, you have a good chance. If you have 1, it's a joke. So at least 2 on this list. So don't go and do like some, dodgy, weak exams and say you've done an exam that nobody's going to bite an eye about. But if you're able to choose 2 here and you nail the 2, yes, you have a good chance. If you kind of nail up to 4, now we're in business. So I will talk about this a little bit more as we go through the program. I don't want to make this session too long because the first class, obviously, is meant to be a 2-hour thing going forward. because it's always good to make the first set of classes fun so people don't lose interest straight away. By the way, one thing I found out in teaching people is try not to break their confidence. Nothing is easy if you want to do it well. Nothing. If you want to sweep a room and you take it too easy, you might not sweep well. So nothing. If you want to do something really, really well, it's never like a piece of cake. Even cooking, if you want to cook really well, you're gonna have to do it like put in a lot of effort. So if you want to do well here, it is not a cakewalk. It's not a walk in the park. You're gonna have to sweat for it. But what is important is you need to have someone who will hold your hand and can guide you and give you technical and moral support that you can do it. If I can do it, then you can do it. That's the honest truth. It's just about perseverance and having the belief and telling yourself that this is going to change my life. I am going to put 110% into it. And this thing literally change lives if you are able to secure a role in it and build on it. So let's go. DevOps basics. So what is this DevOps thing that we've been sort of, bleating about, and what is it about and why do we need it? Why is it so popular, etc. So let's look at it. So what exactly is DevOps? I think to just basically simplify it, DevOps is an acronym. It is dev concatenated with ops. So if you see the word dev here is for development, ops is operations. So back in the old time, when let me give you an hypothetical case. Let's say you have a software company where they write codes and they help people to manage a platform. So let's say, for example, now you have a school who wants to design a portal for their students to kind of log in, take classes, upload projects, upload assignments, and so forth. Maybe a school needs a portal. School probably doesn't know how to write a portal, so they will reach out to like a software company and say, "Oh, we want to build a portal so that our student can, we can use that to kind of manage interaction with our students. They can take classes there. They can upload assignments. They can download curriculums and courses and what have you." The software company say, "Okay, no problem. We are going to help you do it." But they won't just start writing code straight away and say, "Okay, let's just write code." No, they will have to understand how the school wants the portal to work. Is it going to be a portal for primary school? Is it for secondary school? What are those things you want to put on that? Do you want to do videos? Do you want to do audios? Just want to do like, just basically strictly documents? Do you intend for students to be able to upload stuff, or is it just a case of them just downloading materials, not be able to upload? And then if you're going to upload, who is able to upload what? And when they upload, should the platform automatically mark their program, mark the assignment and give them a score? Or is it a case of, when they upload the documents, the teacher get notified and he does what he needs to do and then come back to the kid? Do you want to make it a social media platform where students can interact? The list goes on. So all those things, we call them requirements. So those requirements have to be taken. And God knows it might run from like 10 to 100 to like 300 requirements. And then the software company might say, "Okay, all right, we've got a lot of stuff here. What are those key things that you need to do ASAP?" Okay, you have like God knows like 200 things that you want to do. But what are those things that are key to your need that needs to be delivered ASAP? And the school might come back and say, "Okay, we only need to do 10 things now. And that's what we call MVP. Okay. So the idea is that the idea about that is we want to make sure that we have the minimum viable product that we can release that will be working and people can use. It doesn't mean we end there. It doesn't mean we'll stop there. We're just going to give you an MVP that just get things out of the way, and people can begin to use the platform. The platform will then over time will grow. So all this conversation will be managed by somebody who we call like a project manager, who probably doesn't write a line of code, but he can talk, he can engage, and he can gather critical requirements. So the sort of the project manager comes, get all those facts and whatnot. And I say, okay, yeah, I've got what I need. We are going to do some what we call iterations. Iterations are, okay, these first 2 weeks, this is what we're going to be able to do. The next 2 weeks is what we're going to be able to do. They kind of break the work down into chunks, just like a building a house. You might say the first 1 month or the first 2 weeks, we're only going to lay the foundation. You won't see anything. It's just foundation. But you need a site manager who is able to kind of direct the affairs of people that can, do foundation. Site manager probably does not know how to lay foundation, but he knows because he kind of project manage everything, the foundation has to be laid first, and he will go and get people that lays the foundation. And they probably will get people that will lay the bricks and so forth. So that's what the project manager kind of does. He will speak to maybe the guy that maybe is going to own the house when the house is fully built. He will interact with the guy. In that case, that will be the school. And the project manager, which like the site manager, if you're looking at construction, will engage the owner and also engage the workers. In this case, the workers will be people like developers who will write the code and some other people, which we are going to talk about. So the project manager comes up with, okay, these are what we're gonna do. This is when we're gonna do it. This is our commitment because we're gonna deliver A by X period. In the case of writing code, it would say, okay, for the first week, we are going to write some code. We're going to be able to, maybe in the first week, we are going just to do a simple page where students are able to register on the platform, nothing else. They can't do anything else. Just register on the platform and log in. They're able to register, but they can't do anything, but they can register and log into the platform. So in the old world, a developer would then begin to write code. The code works, and they say, okay, my code is working on my laptop. Okay, I am going to give you to an operations guy. Operations guy doesn't know how to write code, but he knows how to help the developer run this code on a computer, big computer, not just running on the developer's laptop. If you're running something on your laptop, it's not useful to people that would actually eventually use the program or use the platform. They need to have the platform running, for example, on the internet, make sure it's secure, make sure it's able to support not just one person, maybe 1,000 people, maybe 10,000 people. So it is not just like myopic view that a developer has. Yeah, I just want to write my code and make it work on my laptop. The operations guys see a bigger picture. I want to have to make sure that hackers don't get into the platform. I want to make sure that the program doesn't suddenly die and then the site is not available. But the developer doesn't care. The code is running, see you later. So the operations guy cannot write code. Developer guy cannot actually run enterprise-ready application because he doesn't understand Linux, he doesn't understand HTTPS, he doesn't understand security, he doesn't understand a lot of things. So you then have the developer guy who writes the code, who doesn't understand what the operations guy does. At the same time, you have an operation guy who knows operations but doesn't know how to write code. So if the code breaks or something happens and things are not working, it can't do anything. Just say, oh, this is not working. It doesn't look like my problem. It looks like developer's problem. And then they will go to the developer and say, well, my things work, but your thing doesn't work. The developer will look at the code and say, I think the code works. It works on my laptop. I don't know what's going on. Meanwhile, the people that give you the project, they cannot use the platform. The operations guy and developer guy, they are fighting. And they don't know who is responsible for the issue at hand now. So the handshake is not there because they don't speak the same language. It's like somebody is speaking English, the other guy is speaking French. So the other guy say, je suis, yeah. They're not on the same wavelength. And it causes a lot of problems. So the enterprise understood this and they said, okay, there's sort of like a missing link between development and operations. How about if we get somebody who understands development and that person also understands operations? So that this guy can be the bridge between development team and the operations team. And because he needs to have development knowledge and operations knowledge, we will call that thing a DevOps position, or a DevOps role. So DevOps actually morphed. It was created to ease the pain of having to deal with the friction, the inherent friction that happens between development team and operations team. So in trying to bridge that gap, DevOps was created. So one thing you probably will take away today is DevOps is not really a person, or you can say I'm a DevOps. It's not really a correct way to use the term. DevOps is more of like a verb. It's what you do. So we do DevOps. That means we have a way of making development operations work well. But because, people that use the term, they're probably not technical and so forth. And that's one of the things that can give you away in interviews. Because if you come to interview and say, yeah, I'm a DevOps. No, you're not. I do DevOps. And they're going to say, yeah, this guy knows his stuff. But if you say you're a DevOps person, it probably doesn't mean you're going to fail. But if you say you do DevOps, then you're on a different wavelength because they know this guy actually knows what he's saying. So you do DevOps because you know the things that you need to put in place to make development operations work together. And to be a well-oiled machine in terms of DevOps, that is why it's a bit tricky. You need a knowledge of development and you need knowledge of operations. That's why a DevOps person probably will have to do a bit of thing around Python coding. Also, probably need to know a bit of Linux as well, and the other tools that kind of make things gel together. And that is why it's a bit tricky than maybe going full development or going full operations. So with that, the development team and operations team are able to kind of work in sync because DevOps kind of just bridges that gap and smoothing things over. So DevOps is people, process, and tool that would help you to make that happen. So in bridging the gap between development and operations, you're not just bridging that gap by talking. You will bridge that gap by using tools. You bridge that gap by putting processes in place and putting people in position to make sure that that gap is bridged so that there's little downtime. Downtime is a time where you're not able to use a service. You can also what we do, what we call being proactive. So if things are gonna fail tomorrow, you probably know today, so that you're able to save operations, save money. Imagine if you're working for a bank and the banking app goes down, or you are working for like a shopping portal and the portal goes down. Obviously, you're gonna be losing money. So the more you're able to kind of make things run on a like almost on like on an 100% basis, the more you're able to save the face of the business or make money for the business. So that's what DevOps is all about. So all the things we're going to be talking about are the tools that will facilitate that and the mindset you need to have and so forth. And that's what DevOps is all about. How do you ensure that development and operations work together? How do you turn a code into something that's actually working and working well? That is what it's going to be about. Because then it's not like I'm building a house. You will have to know if you are the guy facilitating the stuff, you have to know the cost of cement. You have to know where to source your bricks. You have to know when it's time for roofing. You have to know the quality of roofing sheet you want to get. So you need to have full knowledge of the house. It's not just I can do doors. But if you can't do door, you can do door, you can't do windows, it's going to be a problem. So this is why DevOps is a bit tricky, but we are here to make sure that we support you in um, breaking it all down. Right. So why DevOps matter? DevOps, why does it matter? So before DevOps, as I said to you, there's always problem between operations and because they're all kind of siloed. A doesn't know what B is doing and vice versa. So with DevOps now, it's more like a teamwork. You're able to automate, write code and make code do something automatically. Maybe check if a website should be running. If it's not running, kind of write code to kind of investigate and maybe even mitigate and where possible correct and recover. And also making sure that you're able to detect bugs, which are things that are not working in the code, and having a mechanism that would allow easy fix by a developer and actually cycling that code back into production in a very seamless manner. It's not something is broken, but what is broken, we don't know. But with DevOps, you should be able to figure out what is broken and then ultimately use that to putting tools in place to automatically decide, work out who needs to fix what, and then possibly test automatically and then push that thing back to production. When I mean production, I mean pushing things back to the live system that would then provide a service for a customer. So with DevOps, you have faster delivery of features. So maybe for the school program, school portal hub thing we are talking about. With DevOps now, you're able to release those things quite quickly because you're not only delivering it faster, it's high quality because you will have put testing in place and making sure that things are not released until they pass some sort of very high bar checks or tests. You kick the tires a little bit to make sure that things are working as they should be. And so in doing that, high quality means reliable system, right? If it's high quality, it probably is more reliable. And if it's a reliable system, then you have a happy users and happy team because the teams are smashing it, user is happy, everybody's happy, and that's what DevOps does. So all the things we're going to be learning are the tooling that will make that possible, etc. So variants of DevOps. So here, what I'm looking to talk about here is there's the traditional DevOps that has to do with, as we said, smoothing the gap between development and operations. But over time, DevOps has kind of moved on. Let me use the analogy of a doctor. Maybe some, God knows, centuries ago, there used to be like alchemists that would just prepare materials and maybe physicians, not proper doctors, that would just, come around and do something because medicine then it was still like in dark ages. But I suppose that then came a time where you then have people who are actually called doctors, who are like GPs. So GP will kind of do run of the mill stuff for you. Oh, I've got a headache. They probably use thermometer to check your temperature. They probably listen to your heart. They probably listen to your chest and so forth. And then they probably make some prescription, use some Mismag, use some paracetamol, aspirin, and what have you. As time kind of went on, then you began to have specializations in medicine. So you began to have like roles like gynecologist, who is not just a GP, a general practitioner or a general practice doctor, but someone who has specialization in understanding the anatomy and physiology of women, or who knows it inside out. He doesn't just know medicine, but he knows that as well. And then you have people like, GI, gastroenterologists, people that understand the digestive tract. And you have like pulmonologists, people that understand the lungs, and cardiac doctors, and the list goes on. But everything kind of started from like general GP or general medicine. And just like it is in medicine, the more specialization you have, the more your chances of getting different roles because you can wear different caps. And also the money you earn goes up, right? Because the money the salary of a GP, you can compare that to maybe like a cardiothoracic surgeon, or maybe like a neurosurgeon who kind of works on the brain. They're not going to be on the same salary. The same thing goes for DevOps. So I wanted to kind of speak to the different variants of DevOps that we see and what it means, because the honest truth is DevOps means different thing to different people. So that's why you would go on a job hunt and they call everything DevOps. And you're like, this is probably not DevOps. This is sort of a mixed bag of different stuff. It's a very loosely used term, so you will see it in different variants. Obviously, if you are in school, you might want to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, but you're gonna have to be a doctor first before you can get to that next level. The same thing goes here. So you will see like I feel like that was like a foundational sort of baseline level of what you need to where you need to get to first before you can then look at all the next steps and how you can basically add value to yourself and command more salary in the market. So there's the traditional DevOps, which is what I've been talking about, is the foundation of modern delivery. So this is just the run of the mill. I want to connect development to operations. So here you're going to be looking at this is all before AI and all those fancy stuff. This is if you want to kind of go back in time and looking at about 2016, 2017 when DevOps actually became really popular. So the tools that were kind of serious to them back in the day, some of them are still relevant here. Tools like Jenkins for to move code to move code from A to B. Tools like Ansible to prepare like your platform if you want to like run a Linux platform and you want to install some things on it. Tools like Ansible, Puppet Shell, where all that will do all that good stuff for you. Understanding of the Linux environment, which is where a lot of good fun things happen. Networking, how does a machine communicate? So this is the excuse me. This is the kind of the run of the mill traditional DevOps that used to happen. Honestly, even this is even before the cloud period. What has happened today now is that some of these things have moved to the cloud and some of these need have been met by the cloud platform. So depending on where a company is in their DevOps journey, you will see that the level of maturity differs. What do I mean? Imagine you go to a place like I just would like for better example, let's say you go to a place like in Nigeria, you go to a place like Bauchi and you find yourself in like some Katanda village, like in the middle of nowhere, and you're a doctor. Maybe you're even a cardiothoracic surgeon, but you find yourself in Bauchi. You're not gonna say, "Oh, I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon, and all I'm gonna do is surgery that's with cancer and what have you." You probably don't even have the environment and the tools you need to do your work there. You will better serve those people there by just being a GP, right? And just being a doctor that can just look at them and say, okay, you've got malaria, you've got cold, you've got fever, and treat them as such, rather than say, okay, well, I'm too big, I can't do all that. What I know how to do, I don't even have the tool to do it, so I'm just gonna do nothing. So what I'm trying to say there is some companies are not mature in terms of their DevOps journey and they don't have a lot of stuff. So sometimes you find yourself there, you call yourself a DevOps guy, you become the King Kong because you probably know a lot of things, but because the company has not really matured, you are probably just helping them to build their DevOps, help them to tool their DevOps up to a stage because obviously you can't jump from level 0 to level 100. So they might say, oh, we are just starting. We don't know a lot of stuff. And then you stay there. Probably that's the best place you can be because you won't be stretched too much. And then you can begin to help them grow and grow with them. When I'm praying for my student to looking to get a role. This is the kind of role I pray for them to get because this is easy. Now, in comparison, obviously, it's not as easy because they can kind of grow with it. They are not kind of thrown into the deep end and they can kind of learn their tool and what they need to learn, it will probably not be a lot. They will just be reinforcing what they have learned in their not in the normal course and then use that. All the things we mentioned here, we're going to touch uh, each one of them because they're kind of in different categories. We're going to touch a tool in each category. For example, we'll talk about Ansible. We won't talk about Puppet or Chef. If you want to take a project on Puppet and Chef, for people that know what I'm talking about, I'm more than happy to give you a role. So in terms of pipelining, we will look at Jenkins and so forth. I'm going to break all that down, so we'll see. So we're going to have all this covered. And in the first few weeks, this will be you're going to be learning this traditional DevOps stuff. For people that know it already, it will be an opportunity for you to reinforce your learning and dust the cobweb a little bit on that. So then you have the platform engineers. So you may be seeing this around. So this like specialization in DevOps. So it's kind of the the big boys. So these are the people that build tools that empower DevOps. So they write code to build tools that would make DevOps easier to implement. So usually in big companies, they will say we have a platform engineering team that basically build platform for DevOps. So you might have like, a lot of DevOps team, maybe DevOps team for uh, just as an example, maybe DevOps team for HR department, DevOps team for maybe marketing, and so forth. Little five guys here, four guys there. But what a company does is because they want to instill or make sure they have guardrails in terms of how things are done in the company, and people are not doing things that are not compliant. They will say nobody should be building their own tools, but the platform engineering team, which will be centralized, will release the tooling that the DevOps team will then use. But remember, the platform engineering is a step above normal DevOps. So what big companies do is they create one single platform engineering team that creates tools for the DevOps team to use. So you see people like even on our WhatsApp channel on DevOps, some people are just traditional DevOps and they've been doing it for many years. They will say if you ask them what they do, they will say they run pipelines. I ask them who wrote the pipeline. They will say they don't know about it. They just run it. Usually that is done by the platform engineering team. If a company is that big, some companies are not big. They will just trust everything to you. They say, but you're the DevOps guy. We don't distinguish between platform engineering and traditional DevOps. We don't even know what that means. We just know you're the guy. And that could get you in trouble. Some team, company are mature, they're able to kind of do separation of concerns, separation of duties, and say, okay, this is a platform engineering team. They will roll out the tooling, and you are the DevOps guy, you just use the tools. This role is kind of new. This position is relatively new. Usually, this is done by people that have done many years in development. They can write code, and now they just understand DevOps. So this is just natural to them, and they do well in this. This is probably one of the most paying DevOps role you can have. It's quite big. Right. So we go to DevSecOps. So these are people that have security mindset. So security cannot just be, oh, this is not, I'm just DevOps, it's not my problem. Security is someone else's problem. There are people that have the security background and they're coming to DevOps. They can help to put security into DevOps. So it's sort of like, if you like, a single way of looking at things. They are not separating operations or code deployment to, okay, not doing security. For example, a DevOps guy might say, okay, this is the code. Okay, I'm just going to write, putting system in place to take the code and deploy the code into a Linux platform. But a DevSecOps guy will say, okay, I'll take the code. I'm going to scan the code for vulnerabilities, for weaknesses that hackers can use. I'll put in something that will do this scan. And I'm also going to put in some quality gate. If the scan gets up to, if we see a serious problem, we're going to fail the product. But if you see minor issue up to like 3 or 4, if it's not more than 5, we'll let the code go to production. It can begin to define and design all those parameters to make sure that they're not just doing DevOps, they're doing DevOps with security in mind. Which the people with security background can transition to DevSecOps and so forth. Kubernetes is it's like the de facto way of kind of managing your code in production these days. It's become the buzzword, the ubiquitous way of looking at deployment. And it's kind of ubiquitous because almost everywhere, but it doesn't mean that everyone is using it. If you have a very solid knowledge of Kubernetes, you are very strong in it, not just, hey, I can do build on Kubernetes, then you are potentially going to find the market, in your favor. We're going to really like touch Kubernetes in this program. We're going to touch it. Everyone on this course we're going to have it covered for you. So it's because it's very important. So people with basic DevOps knowledge who can slap Kubernetes on it, yeah, they're onto something good. So yeah, that will be covered. So site reliability engineers, these are the people that will look after their DevOps guys, but they know how to put mechanism in place to make sure that when things are released to production, they work well, they scale well, and they do things on budget, they don't have failures and so forth. Uh, if you don't want to be like, have a way of, oh, your manager calls you midnight and say, oh, the website is down. Can you go fix it? You don't want that kind of thing happening. So this is where site reliability engineers come in. They put systems, toolings, and monitoring in place to make sure that you are not just deploying to production, but also more actively monitoring stuff and proactively fixing stuff. So this is where site reliability engineers shine and they're able to kind of make this happen. It also is another level over your traditional DevOps. So cloud architecture, this is people that shine and they can design solutions on maybe AWS platform, Azure platform, Google Cloud platform, Oracle platform. Usually you will hardly find someone who is able to do well on 2 or 3 cloud platforms. So if you know one cloud platform well, is great. If you know 2 well, even better. So I would just suggest now for now that just focus on one and know one cloud platform well. As I mentioned earlier, our focus will be on AWS, but that is not to say we will not touch Azure. Just going to show you the platform. Anyone who wants to take all their project on Azure platform, they are more than welcome. We will support them. But just to kind of simplify things for this program, our preferred platform will be AWS. So we are going to help you understand AWS, and AWS is almost like an ocean. There's so many things on there. So we are going to focus on things that we think matters. There's just too many things on that platform. When we start looking at cloud, you will see what I mean. There's no way you can know everything on cloud. You have to choose your battles and make sure you know those things you choose and know them well. So AI, machine learning operations. So AI is kind of coming to play now. So you having DevOps guy who are able to kind of support AI ML operations or initiative, building things like pipelines and making sure that workflows work well and observability of the workflows and the pipeline to make sure that the machine learning and the AI tooling LLM, they all work and they all work well. This is sort of new, but sort of getting traction by the day as well. We're going to look at things around here as well. Just to kind of reiterate, our main focus will be on understanding traditional DevOps, and then we're going to slap some of this on top of that. Observability engineering, it's kind of close to SRE. Yeah, so it's almost like a subset of SRE, which is site reliability engineering. Automation scripting, this is sort of close to platform engineering, but some people, they don't really do platform engineering, but they just know how to automate. They can write code in Go, Python, and use that to kind of do a lot of automation. So this kind of goes hand in hand with what we have in mind as well. So it's meant to be a 1-hour session. So this is the end of the class. I just wanted to kind of give us a bit of an introduction into how I see things playing out in the next 14 to 18 weeks. If you want to take anything away, I will share the slide with you, by the way. Just have the mind of positivity. Just be positive. Don't worry too much about oh, it's going to be hard. It's going to be a long road. If you're positive and you say, whatever comes, I'm going to face it and I'm determined to do well, you will do well. I mean, it's that simple. Also, the mindset of, getting your hands dirty, rolling up your sleeve. If you come with that mindset, the sky will be the limit and you'll be able to break into this space. Because DevOps touches everything, if you want, you will be able to kind of move around into the AI space. Machine learning engineering will not be far from you. If you want to go into development, that will not be far from you as well. So it's some it's a road that's quite key and still kind of gaining traction. And the more you know, as you have seen, the better your chances of getting something that is financially lucrative, but also maybe liberating in terms of visa status and remote working. So that's what I have for today. For tomorrow, we're going to be looking at our first rodeo into, um, you know, getting hands dirty. We'll be using the platform I asked you to create. We're going to kind of begin to look at the school portal analogy I gave. We can actually see things live, and then you're going to be able to build your first school portal. Each person will be able to do his own and run it, and that will kind of give you an idea into what is to come. So we're going to kind of limit the tools we are going to need to make it happen. But by the end of tomorrow, you should be able to have your own first portal deployment. You're going to see me do it, and then you're going to go replicate it, and then we'll go from there. I have your back covered, so please work with me and let's smash this. Thank you. So I end the class now, so I'm going to open the forum for questions and comments. Thank you. Questions, comments? Okay, Olawale, go for it.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. My name is Olawale. I have a couple of questions. I don't know if I'm permitted to go ahead and ask all of
Yes.
them, or maybe it's just one.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, let's go.
Okay. All right. Thank you. My first question is, I can see just like you said earlier on, we have some people who are already in the field, and I can see a little bit of differences in our tasks. So I just want to ask, or maybe I should say appeal, because fine, for someone like me who's starting from ground zero, is there a way we can sort of, integrate what we are doing with what they are doing? Maybe there's a way we starters can, start, and then we kind of slowly integrate into their own task as well. So, because I noticed in the maybe the first or second slide, there are a bit of differences in the two groups. So that is my first question. If there is going to be a sort of integration between the tasks, so that we won't be kind of left behind, if I can say that, so that we start from our hand from the beginning, from scratch, and then we sort of integrate into the tasks that you give to them. And then the my second question is kind of an appeal, because the classes, like you said, is going to be like 2 hours. I just want to, maybe if there is a way, because videos, going back to watch videos like 3 hours long, 4 hours long, is going to be very, very, how do I put it? You find like you see it as a very tall mountain to climb. So I just want to appeal, if we can keep it within that 2 hours. It's very easy, to go back to a 2 hour video is going to be very, very, very easy. So that is just the second one. And then the third one is the issue of AI. Using AI to code. For starters like me, I'm speaking for myself at the moment right now. So for starters like me, using AI to code, and you are in the office, would your colleagues at office will not be seeing you as someone who is not up to the task, if I can say that. Then to my last question is, after the whole program and then trying to secure a job, how do we go with references? Are you going to be providing us with some kind of references to sort of buttress our position in the field? Those are my questions, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Olawale. Those are very valid questions. Let me take them one after the other. So, difference between what the newbies would do and the experienced guys. So what we're going to try to do here is that there's not going to be a lot of distinction in terms of what we do in class, but in terms of the project that they do, there will be difference. The reason being that where they are is not where you are, and you guys are on a separate track. So don't look at it in such a way that, oh, I want to be on their track. If you stay on your track, it will be more than enough for you to succeed, if that makes sense. For people that put 3, 4, 5, 6 years into DevOps, helping you with 11 weeks, 11 to 16 weeks of course will not get you to where they are. But we have a target of what you should know to be able to get a job, and that is what we're going to focus on. So if you kind of worry less about them and stick to the program we're going to put in front of you, you will do well. So they're on a separate track and you'll be on a separate track. It will not affect what you're going to learn in class. If you want to take a peek as to what they are doing and want to check them out, that's fine. One thing I would do is I always kind of, when we want to do big projects, I will always mix those guys into mix the big, if you like, the people with experience and people with not too much experience. I'll mix them together so that you can connect to them, because iron sharpens iron, as they say. So if you kind of work with them, make them as your friend, it would help you. So one thing I've always said to people here is we make lifelong friends here. So I know people that I've met here, my program, and they become like lifelong friends, and they help them. So even in work. So a guy gets a job, he doesn't ring me because I probably will not pick the phone. And it rings Kunle, or it rings Mumi, or it rings Ahmed, because they are closer to themselves than I am to them. So make sure you open your eyes, look for the guys that are really good, make them your friend. That is one way of doing well. So please, it's like a separate track, and don't feel what's the word? Don't feel inferior. You are running your race. You choose your battles, and then you will do well. The program will not go more than 2 hours, because 2 hours for me is obviously knackering as well. So I promise you, it will not be more than 2 hours. It's going to be 8 to 10, and that's it. Hopefully that, I think the second question is the easiest to answer. It's 2 hours. If I can make 2 hours, yeah, it's going to be 2 hours. The third one is about AI and coding. So, yes, so we are not just going to say, yeah, start coding with AI and whatnot. So because we are not building you as a coder, we're building you as a DevOps person. You need to have an idea of coding. This is not a software development class. We are not going to be teaching you software as a software guy should know software. We are going to give you the things you need enough to be able to function as a DevOps person. If you want to, like, I go a little bit deeper in software, that's a different thing entirely. It's important to show you AI too. Nobody codes from scratch again anymore. And if you are coding from scratch, people will laugh at you. So what you are thinking in your head is the other way around now. So if your colleagues see you like doing things from scratch, they're gonna laugh. But why are you not using AI? Like, what you're gonna take 3 weeks to do, probably do it in 2 hours. So what are you doing? So the mindset you have is the other way around now. So if you're not using AI, then people will laugh at you. So, but that is not to say we won't give you the basics. Python is going to be the language that we would help you understand. In terms of job and providing references and stuff. I think it all depends on the program the person signs up for. I don't want to complicate it. So what I would say is people pay different prices for the program, and the post training support that we give, it's not by default, but the good thing is that Olawale, the program you sign up for actually covers everything. So for in your own case, we would help you with CVs and references and all the rest of it. So, but it is not the default. It all comes down to what the person signs up for. I hope that covers your need. Fantastic.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome. Kule, go for it.
Thank you. I just wanted to add to, I wanted to answer the question before you answered for Olawale. I'm actually one of the older students, and I can assure you that the class will not go beyond 2 hours, and it's tailored. It is you help yourself, then the teacher will help you put everything you've learned to action. Because in the first 20 minutes of this class, he said he will know whether you're watching the video multiple times or you're not. If you're not, you'll be, caught and you lack. You always play a catch-up session in that area. So you are in the right place. I just want to add that. And my question is around the difference between cloud engineer and platform engineer. My mind, before now, I've actually been thinking they're both the same. So when you kind of broke the two, I just felt, okay, I need clarity around cloud engineer and platform engineer. Sorry.
Thank you, Kole. Thank you. So these are very loosely used terms, and I don't want you to be too caught up on it. But if you want to strictly define what the two is, so cloud engineer and platform engineer. You can be a platform engineer without necessarily being a cloud engineer. So what do I mean? So what is a platform? A platform could be a platform that runs on a cloud. A platform could be something that runs in a data center behind you that is on-prem. A platform could be a couple of laptops in your room. So platform is a very loosely used term because it could mean anything anywhere. Whereas cloud is very specific. So a cloud engineer is somebody who is versatile, understands the cloud system, maybe Azure, maybe AWS. Whereas a platform engineer only deals with a platform, which could be, for example, a platform engineer that understands how to knit system together on premise. So it would be somebody maybe who can use VMware to kind of put system together and have a deployment run on it. In the same vein, it could be someone who understands AWS and is able to kind of whip things together and create a platform on it. So what I mean is you could look at it and say a platform engineer is a cloud engineer could be a platform engineer on the cloud. But a platform engineer is a term that is generally used for an engineer who's able to actually define and work on a platform. If you're a platform engineer and you can work on the cloud, you could be a cloud engineer you could be a platform engineer that runs on the cloud. If I want to extend it a little bit further, right? You could actually be a platform engineer who works on the cloud but does not do cloud architecture. For example, a platform engineer could be someone who actually will be building out toolings that is able to, let me give you an example, a very actual real example of where I worked before. So where I used to work, we use AWS, which is Amazon Cloud, to do stuff. And typically what people would do is they will connect to AWS platform and click, create stuff. Some people will use Terraform to build and whatnot. But if you apologize, please. So what then happened was that the company set up a platform engineering team, and what the team actually did was create tools for the cloud engineers to use. So the cloud engineer, they know how to, create things on the cloud for different departments and stuff, but they didn't want them to be connecting to AWS or using Terraform to just create things on the whim. So the platform engineer began to create toolings, centralized, so that if you're a cloud engineer, a DevOps engineer, you don't just write your tool, you would use the centralized tool to then do things on the cloud or do things on-prem. But the team that was responsible for creating those tools was what they call the platform engineer that was creating the tooling for them to use. So it's a very loosely used term, but if you want to kind of really be specific in terms of defining it, platform engineer will generally rely on tooling, but it could be tooling that is specific to on-prem system or cloud system. Whereas a cloud engineer is kind of boxed and say, okay, this guy only works on cloud. What he does on the cloud obviously is up for debate, but I think that would be the best way to describe it.
Thank you.
Does
Yeah,
that answer your question?
in a way, because
Mhm.
I'm actually thinking, because I know that before now, I've always been thinking when they ask me, what platform do you use? It's either AWS, GCP, Azure, and the likes. And that's the platform. So when they say, this is my thinking, and when they say that platform engineer, I think it is platform specific. So if it's AWS, then you are working on that particular platform and you understand everything regarding that platform. But when they say cloud, as in cloud, everything is within the cloud. AWS is a cloud-based, GCP is cloud-based. So it's like if you understand all these platforms like Azure, AWS, GCP, they all fall under cloud. And I think if you understand everything, you can then call yourself a cloud.
No.
This is
No,
my thinking, but
no,
you've
that
corrected
is
me.
not. Yeah, there's nobody that understands all the cloud, all those cloud. Nobody. There's no one person who knows everything in Azure and AWS. It's not possible. So hopefully that kind of covers it. So you could be a cloud engineer that has sort of an understanding of AWS, which is Amazon Cloud, or you can have an understanding of some things on Azure. In fact, you will have to then define your discipline on AWS. So it's just like you're a doctor. You have to say, okay, I'm a doctor. I know how to do. I'm a GI doctor. I was trained in America. Yeah. And then when you come to the UK, may have to take the UK exam. The human GI is the same, right? People don't have two stomachs. But the way the UK would operate would be different from the US operate. Maybe in the sense of how often should you do colonoscopy? Maybe you have to do it every 5 years in the UK. Maybe in the US, maybe it's every 7 years. So the human system is still the same, but the way you practice medicine would differ from country to country. So that is the AWS and the Azure. They're still doing the same thing. You're still going to have Linux on AWS, still having Linux on Azure. But how do you use that Linux? So for you to function as a doctor, of course, a doctor, you're good. But you can't just come from Nigeria and say, boom, I start working in the UK. It's not that you're a rubbish doctor. But the way they do their medicine, when they say, oh, GI, maybe they don't use the term GI in Nigeria, maybe they use abdomen, or maybe so it's about understanding those stuff, but essentially, you're still going to be treating the same human being. So it's that. So it is not that if you know AWS, that's why it won't be hard for you to know Azure. If you are like a GI doctor in Nigeria, you will be a GI doctor here in as much you understand the way of doing things here and you can master how to use the tools. It is about tools, it's not about you're a rubbish doctor. It's about can you use the modern tools they have here to do the same thing and maybe do it better? That's what it's all about. You cannot, so that's the way you're gonna look at it in terms of cloud platform. They're all doing the same thing, but the way you would do them would differ from platform to platform. And there's no one person that knows everything. No, you can be a doctor, but you have to be a GI doctor. You cannot be a GI doctor and then you are like a neurosurgeon at the same time. You can only go so far. So when you say cloud platform, you look at cloud. Everybody should look at cloud platform as a hospital. You cannot be a doctor, a surgeon, a nurse, anesthetician at the same time. It's too much. So you're gonna have to choose your discipline and say, these are the things I want to know, because the cloud is huge. Okay, I want to be a GI doctor in a hospital in Nigeria. Yes. it makes sense that you can take some courses in GI medicine and be a GI doctor in the UK at the same time. But you cannot be a neurosurgeon in Nigeria and GI doctor in Nigeria and a neurosurgeon in America and GI doctor. You're just gonna run mad. So you have to choose your battle. So you always look at cloud as a big hospital and has different departments, or maybe a university. You cannot be a sociology lecturer and still be doing in the Department of Engineering and engineering and whatever or site. It will be too complicated. So you have to choose. These are the tools I'm going to focus on. I'm going to know them inside out because it relates to what I want to do. Bank. And then over time, maybe you are doing GI and then you want to do advanced GI and then you want to do advanced this over in that line. Then that makes sense because there are so many things on the cloud. So always remember that the cloud is huge. You cannot know everything on the cloud. That's what a lot of people do not understand. What I'm going to be doing here is to guide you as to what you need to focus on the cloud to do well. Because if you choose your battle, you will do well. But if you're like, jack of all trades, just jumping from pillar to post, you will work so hard, but you'll be so thin on the ground. They will ask you 3 questions and they will know that you're shallow. The reason you are shallow is because it's not because you're working out, but because you save yourself so thin. Because you know A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Instead of you for just to know ABC and know ABC well, and then you self-destruct, basically. So I'm here to guide you to make sure that doesn't happen.
So please, you just said something now which resonates. Is
Okay.
it now okay to learn a little about a lot, or learn a lot about a little?
I think it makes sense to find a middle ground where you know a little, not so much little, but what is sensible in terms of size, but knowing them well. So when you say a lot is relative. When you say little, little is relative. So it's finding that sweet spot to make sure that you're not learning just 2 things, but you learn enough and you know them well. So like you're not learning 100 things or 1,000 things, but learning some sensible number and then you're knowing them well. Yeah.
Thanks, boss.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Alrighty, so guys, we're gonna meet tomorrow again at 8 p.m. We're gonna have our first rodeo into getting our hands dirty. Yeah, we'll speak then. I will share the video on the platform as well as the slide. Have a good evening. We'll speak again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye.